What's up, guys? Here's another episode and another pickup, and as you can imagine, this is kind of a special episode and a special pickup because this is all the stuff that I got in Mexico. So actually, this isn't all the stuff I got in Mexico. I'm splitting this up into two parts. There's going to be a game pickup, which you are currently watching, and there's going to be a pickup video for toys, and that will be probably in a week or two. I'm not really sure. There's another video I want to do in between. But eventually I will get around to showing you guys the toys that I picked up in Mexico because I got some really good ones. So, as you can see, this is my first pickup. It's just a Ryu poster. It's not anything like super special, but this was like literally with the exchange rate of the money, it was like $8, and it's in a frame, and it is pretty darn cool. It is going to sit in my game room. Also of note is, you can see I've got a different background behind me. I am switching out my game room a little bit. One entire wall is actually getting moved around a bit, and I just wanted some things just a little bit different, and some things will fit a little bit different. Honestly, it had a lot to do with accessibility to wires on my consoles. I was really having trouble like getting to the cords to actually be able to plug in other consoles because I don't want 20 consoles plugged in at once, so I just switch out power cords, and now where I have things, it is, or where I'm gonna have things, it's gonna be a lot easier to do that. Anyways, so let me know what you guys think of this. It's pretty darn cool, I think. Giant Ryu poster, and what's really cool about it is that was literally, like, I think the first thing I found in Mexico, if I remember correctly. We went to these things called tianguis, and they were like a swap meet, but it was a swap meet where every day it was in a different location in the town. This is in Rosarito, by the way. And people just come up and set up their tents and their booths, and they come on whatever days they want. So sometimes you go on a day and it's the same people, sometimes there's different people, sometimes a mix, usually a mix. There's all kinds of really good food. Mexico has amazing food. Yeah, really, really good food. I definitely gained some weight on that trip. But yeah, there were just little booths around, and they just sell anything, like anything out of their house. It's really crazy. It's like little tiny garage sales, or like a mini flea market, but that's kind of mobile. Every day it's somewhere else in the city. But yeah, the tianguis were really, really cool. And I did score some games there, but not a whole lot of like really rare things or anything like that, but I scored a lot, as in just got a lot of stuff. And the exchange rate for money, let me tell you guys, was really good. It was really awesome because the first day I just gave them $80 at the exchange counter, and I got basically about $120 back, but in pesos, but about $120 worth in pesos. Now, if you go the other way and exchange into American money, you get crap back, so it doesn't work the other way. But it's really awesome because it was like getting $40 free, and that all went to games and 80s toys, so as you guys shall see. I'm just going to get on with this. Let me tell you, Mexico is really cool. There were some pretty cool things, and yeah, I highly suggest if you can. It's a really cheap place to go, and it's really fun. The locals are totally friendly, as long as you're like really nice and polite and thankful. They are just as nice and polite and just very bright, awesome people with awesome smiles, and it was just really cool. Anyways, getting on with the pickups, I have just a couple weird, little unusual things first. Get those out of the way. This weird little Xbox, like, I guess it's a motorcycle game, but it's like 2 handlebars and a couple buttons, and it came from Kellogg. So, yeah, I don't know. It was like literally a couple pesos, which in American dollars is like nothing. This I got because it's funny as hell, and actually, maybe on my next episode he will be assembled, but I wasn't going to open him at first. He's just a little knockoff Luigi figure, and I just got it because it was cheesy and weird, and also one of the very first things I found in Mexico. Actually, I think I found this before I found the poster, so I just laughed at this and was like, that's really funny. Well, just the other day, I decided to actually open up the box and see what the pieces looked like, and they look like real Legos, like actual quality Legos. Really weird, so the picture does not do it justice. What is really funny is the weapons that it comes with. He's got a hammer, that makes sense, it's a Mario game. He's got a wrench, which, yeah, I guess that makes sense, he is a plumber. And the other thing he has, which was really freaking weird, was a sword, like a samurai sword. Why Luigi has a samurai sword, I have no idea, but that was just funny, and it was cheap as hell, and yeah, I'm going to assemble him. I wasn't going to open him at first, and then I saw that it was actually, like, really cool looking, so yeah, he'll sit on my shelf somewhere, and because he's so cheap, I'm actually going to ask my girlfriend's parents who live down there if maybe they'll pick me up a couple if they ever see him again, and maybe I'll give away a couple in, like, contest videos or something like that. Anyways, cheapo things I scored that are just random. DS charger. I ran into all kinds of really cool cords at this little flea market Tiangi thing. And did I mention the food? The freaking food was so amazing, man. Oh my god, it was so good. And cheap. I got a Game Boy Advance SP charger. Hell yeah, those were cheap. Always need those. One of my buddies was just asking for an SP charger. And let's see, starting off with just a cheapo game. Oh, Jesus. Cheapo game that was just in horrible, horrible condition. Somebody decided to color all over this cart black, or something happened to it. I'm not really sure, but it's Command & Conquer on N64. I don't know if it's any good. You know, I say this a lot in my videos. I don't know if this game is any good, and I've never played this game. And the reason I constantly say that is because I have got most of the games that I have played before, if that makes any sense. All the games from my childhood and all the games I played, you know, throughout the years, I generally tend to grab those first, and so I have most of the games that I have played before. Now I'm working on games that I've never played before, and or just oddballs. And Command & Conquer, generally just the series is pretty cool, so I'm kind of curious what it's going to be like on N64. But yeah, pretty much none of these I've played. With the exception of a couple. But, anyways, moving on, I have only 2 Super Nintendo games I scored in Mexico. They're just... Super Nintendo, they seem to know exactly what they have with the Super Nintendo games for some reason. You would think it would be NES that they really keep their eye on, but they don't. They actually seem to be keeping track of prices on Super Nintendo, and I'm going to be honest, a lot of the people selling video games down there know what they have. Don't go down there thinking that you're going to get crazy, crazy deals. You will get deals because they're used. You'll get deals because they're worn out, and you negotiate with people, and you'll also get deals because of the exchange rate of money. But you're not going to find, you know, like, you're not going to find Final Fantasy games for $1. You're not going to find, you know, anything like that. But yeah, Super Nintendo games were not only harder to find there, but they were also priced accordingly, and so I only picked up a couple, and they were just cheapos, and they were just ones that I needed, you know, decent labels. One is Wordtris, which is like a mix of like Scrabble and Tetris from what I gather. Looks pretty cool. Didn't have it. Good label. It was like $1 or $2. I guess American. It was like maybe even cheaper. Super Strike Eagle had a ding in it, but if I remember correctly, this was like $1. So Super Strike Eagle, never played it before, looks kind of cool, you know, like the cover. Okay, so this one dude had, what was it? He had Genesis games, and he just had a box of Genesis games, and he said they were 3 for, oh god, what was it, like, I'm trying to remember the conversion. I think he said 3 for 100 pesos, which 100 pesos is like $8. So I was like, oh, 3 for $8. Okay, I'll take him up on that. And then I talked him down from that further, but the conversion is really hard. So it was pretty cheap for these games, and I picked up 5. And then I also talked him down a little bit from the deal because I only got 5, not 6. But a lot of them I just had. Awesome Possum for Genesis. Never played it. Wiz and Liz, which was really funny because the guy was like, oh yeah, this game is really rare. It goes to some set or something like that. And I was like, yeah, okay. Pretty sure it's common. Looked it up when I got home. It's a common. I don't know what he was talking about. I don't know if he was just trying to upsell me or if he thought it was something else, but that's not why I bought it. I bought it because the label looked cool. The cover art looked cool. The label was in good condition. Oh, that's one thing in Mexico. Holy crap. I did find some really good games occasionally that I just passed on because they were so beat to shit. I mean, these games sit in the sun for who knows how long before somebody like me or somebody that collects games comes along and sees them and rescues them. Man, some of these games are in just so terrible condition. The ones that I saw that were the worst condition were anything in a DVD type case. So like GameCube games, PlayStation 2 games, anything in a DVD type case. that plastic deteriorates under the sun, and the labels completely wear. I have a PS2 game I'll show you guys that I picked up, and when I got it, the actual plastic on the DVD case was like freaking deteriorating, and the cover is just a little bit worn. But yeah, the sun does brutal damage on those games down there. Cyborg Justice for Genesis. Back on track, sorry. Sonic 3D Blast, which actually I was stoked about. I've never played this game before, but if I remember, it's supposed to be a pretty good game. Not positive, but, you know, sweet. I've really been into Genesis lately, so hell yeah. And my favorite of the Genesis pickups with a pretty worn cover. It's not red, it's pink. This is True Lies for Genesis. I still need the one on Super Nintendo. But graphically, this kind of reminds me of like Shadowrun on Genesis. It's this really cool top view, and I guess pretty much just because of that I want to play it. But I've also heard it's a pretty decent game for being a movie title. So, moving on, let's show you something like Nintendo games. This one I specifically remember was, what was it, 20 pesos? Yeah, 20 pesos, which is like $2, less than $2, like, I don't know, $1.75 or something like that. Fisher Price Firehouse Rescue. It's just cheap. I don't know. Sometimes I just felt like I had to pick something up. I was like, I gotta rescue that game. Nobody's good. This is like, I remember at this guy's booth, it was like literally the only game thing he had. He had one Nintendo game, and I was like, it's $1.75. Am I really gonna pass on it? Actually has a decent label, whatever. Werewolf, I think, was like less than $1. It's Werewolf The Last Warrior. I've never played this, but the cover looks really cool. And let's see, another, well, actually, first of the pretty darn good ones, Mario 3. I scored this for like 50 pesos, so that's like $4. Yeah, Mario 3, it's got a torn label, but plays great, and it's Mario 3. So, next was a actually really cool one because it was in such good condition. This is another case of like, this guy didn't really have anything, but he had a couple, like 2 or 3 games. And one of them was Mario 2 in a nice Nintendo slipcover, and it came with instruction booklets, and it was like $5, I think. So $5 for sleeve, you know, instruction booklet and game, that's pretty darn good, especially Mario 2. So I definitely popped on that. And when I say $5, I mean it was probably 50 pesos, so it was probably more like, you know, $4, $4.15, who knows. The conversion changes there all the time, and in fact, depending on where you go to convert your money, the rates are actually higher in some towns. We passed by a town in Tijuana, and we didn't go to any of the places that were actually touristy. We were more the places, because my girlfriend's parents live there. We didn't go to any touristy places. We went to all the like local places. Like the Tianguis are a very local thing to do. It's not really a touristy place. But anyways, yeah, we went to this place in Tijuana, and the exchange rate was even higher. It was actually quite a bit higher. So yeah, it's just weird. The exchange rate changes all the time. It's definitely in your favor as an American to go down there because you get more money out of your money. The best thing I picked up on Nintendo was beat to shit. I mean, totally beat to shit. This is what I'm talking about. This is a good example of a Mexico game that was just cheap enough and a good enough title that I had to rescue it. But it's a good example of how beat to shit they are. I mean, the cartridges are brown, label's totally torn. You can't even see what it is on the side. It's Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, and if I remember correctly, it was like 40 pesos or $4 American. Some of the stuff I spent American dollars on. Sometimes it was just easier to hand them a little bit extra at American dollars than negotiate between prices back and forth. And they know their American dollars pretty damn well there. It's pretty crazy. They instantly whip out the calculator and just figure out what's what, and you're like, okay, cool, whatever, just go with it. It's cheap. So, all right. So moving on, I've got a couple handheld stuff things for you. Not a couple. I actually got quite a bit of handheld stuff for you. I've got one of the first things I actually found along with the poster and the Luigi thing was I found Space Cadet Adventures Ren and Stimpy, and it was like $1 or $2 or something like that. Cool. Cheesy game. The last day I was there, I found, or the last day I went to a Tiangi, I found Dragon Warrior 3 with a working save, torn to shit cover, but this was like $3. So yeah, that was awesome. I keep finding Dragon Warrior 3 on Game Boy Color. I've had like 4 copies of it recently. It's really weird. One of the cooler things I found for sure, and will cause a little bit of jealousy, I'm sure, with some people, this is an SP unit, Game Boy Advance SP, but it's the 101. Yeah. I'm kind of stoked about this, but at the same time, it's got one huge flaw. First of all, it was only $10. The huge flaw, though, is the battery did not work. I popped in a new battery, and it does seem to work. I haven't drained it, though, and actually tried to recharge it. I wasn't even sure if a regular SP battery was going to work in a 101 unit, and it does. It's the same battery. The only crappy thing is, also, like I said, I don't know if it actually charges, but the only crappy thing is the charging light, when you do plug it in, does not work. These things are freaking awesome. I cannot recommend getting a Game Boy Advance SP 101 unit. The 101s have such a brighter screen than the, what are they, the 001 models. They only came in 3 colors. Pretty hard to find. They're amazing, dude. They're so freaking cool. Highly suggest you get one. And for $10, that is a steal, working battery or not. I will make it work. Okay, so moving on. I've got. Let's do the PS2 stuff next. Okay, I have never played a Grand Theft Auto game in my entire life. Now I have Vice City. I will play this. I'm very curious about these games. I'm not really into these kind of games at all, but damn, I mean, how many people can tell you a game is great and you're just going to ignore them? You have to freaking listen at some point. So I'm going to play that. I'm going to play a GTA game. That's pretty crazy for me. That's like me saying I'm going to play a first-person shooter. It just doesn't happen. But yes, it was. The reason I picked it up was it wasn't actually cheap or anything, but it was just in such superior condition to everything else in Mexico. I mean, I was just like, wow, this thing looks brand freaking new. It was like brand new disc. It had the instruction booklets, and yeah, pretty awesome. So it wasn't cheap or anything, but like I said, exchange rate, haggling with people, it's a little cheaper than America. Okay, so I was definitely excited about this. Hell yeah. Finally got Bards Tale. This is the one I was talking about. You can tell, I don't know if you can tell on film or not, but the cover is a little worn. It looks a little lighter than most copies. You can actually tell by looking at the back. The back is a little darker, a little lighter, a little darker, a little lighter. Anyways, this game looks amazing. I popped it in and was stoked. So, yeah, Bards Tale, got that very cheap if I remember correctly. This was just darn cool, and I don't have this game, didn't have this game, now I do have this game, and what's really cool is it's sealed. It's a Greatest Hits edition of God of War 2. Why there's a sealed one of these sitting at a flea market in Mexico, I don't know, but hell yeah, it was cheap too. I think he was asking for 100 pesos, so that's like $8 or something like that. Pretty cool. Alright, so moving on, I got a few Game Gear things, and starting off, first of all, really cool. I got columns, which are, whatever, that's just cheap. But really cool. I never see these cases that the Game Gear games come in. Honestly, in my town, never run into Game Gear games. It's just not something I ever really run into. So columns, and there was a Super Smash TV also in the case. I was really stoked about this one because I love Super Smash TV on Super Nintendo. And we've got Iron Man XO Manowar in Heavy Metal. Long title, has something to do with Iron Man, like the comic book character. And one more. This one was the best one in my opinion. Hell yeah, very stoked. Shinobi. And what's awesome is this came with this, and it does not have battery covers. It's totally dirty. It's gross. I haven't even really tried this or anything, but these two together are $7. So yeah, even as a display piece, that's cool as shit. And Shinobi, hell yeah, I was really stoked about that. If my blue Game Gear does not work, I will switch out the innards of one of my black Game Gears and get this one working. It doesn't have battery covers, but maybe I'll paint some black ones blue or something, or just have black ones, or I don't know. Anyways, okay, so definitely one of the better pickups, but something I kind of overpaid for, because this game actually not that long ago was worth a lot more. I have no idea what's with the drop in price, and this is a card only, but still it was alright deal. Anyways, Contra 4. I have been looking for Contra 4 on DS for a while. This game is fucking beautiful. This is the game that I've probably played the most on this table. Well, okay, besides the Marios and Dragonware. Anyways, Contra 4, out of the games that I had never played before, I had my DS with me, and it's really beautiful. It's really cool how both screens interact, and yeah, just Contra 4 is awesome. And while it's low in price, I don't know what's with that price drop, but totally worth it to get it online. It's going for about 15 bucks, so I swear that game used to go for like 35, 40 bucks. Maybe I am delusional, but I'm pretty damn sure. I'll have to check price charting. Oh, so yeah, I did get one more thing. It's the most unusual thing for sure. Really weird. The last day I was there, this wasn't at a Tiangi, this was at a indoor, like, flea market type place, and that's where I scored a lot of my toys at. I can't remember. Oh, Vaquero is what they're called. Anyways, this was really freaking cool. I literally saw it the last day we went, and it was the last thing I saw while I was at the register. It was behind the register, near the ground. I saw something World of Warcraft, and I saw this behind it, and I was like, what is that? And to be perfectly honest, it kind of looked like a porn from the top. I was like, what the hell is that? No, it is not a porn. It is Fate Unlimited Codes Portable. This is a PSP game. This is a case for a PSP. It fits a 2000 or a 3000. It comes with headphones that have a little design on them as well. And it comes with the directional buttons, like replaceable white directional buttons that you can put on your PSP. And anyways, it's in box. It was $5. It's made by Hori, which is a really good company, and I literally cannot find one of these online for sale as of yet. I mean, maybe one's popped up in the last couple days, but when I checked, I could not find one. I have no idea what this is worth. It's really freaking cool, and it was just a really neat cap to the trip. It was just like that was a weird one. I wasn't expecting to just get some random new in box Japanese freaking PSP case. Yeah, anyways, really cool. That's all I got for you guys game-wise. Keep in mind, I do have a toy pickup coming as well. I caught so many toys, I couldn't even include them in this video. Mostly 80s toys, a few early 90s toys. I think you guys will enjoy that. If you will, please keep an eye out, and if you like the video, please give a thumbs up, and if you want to see more videos, including that toy pickup video, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It's down there, and it's red, and it says subscribe. And yeah, that's pretty much all I have for you guys. Leave a comment. Let me know what you guys thought of all my pickups. Let me know what you guys think of Mexico. Would you go to Mexico? A lot of my friends are like, why would you go to Mexico? And I'm like, why not? It's cheap and it's fun. It was amazing. So, or have you been to Mexico? Let me know if you found anything cool in Mexico, or if you just had a really neat trip there one time. But yeah, that's all I have for you guys. Thank you very much for watching. Very much appreciated. Glad to be home. Keep rocking the retro games.